Hi, my name is Michelle and I wanted to make this video to break down Sun Salutation 1. So that way you can get the hang of it, know how to properly do each pose in it, so then when you're in a class you can just flow with the class and not have to think about it too much. So go ahead, and the first pose is mountain pose. So I'm going to show you this way, then I'll step to the top of my mat. So our feet are about hips width apart, so that means where our hips are, our feet fall directly underneath them. And then our palms just face forward and our shoulders relax. We tend to tense our shoulders up, so we just bring them down like that. So this is mountain pose, and this is where it starts. So we can come to the top of our mat, and we start in that mountain pose. And then we're going to inhale and bring our arms up into the center. And then when we're in the center, sometimes after you've warmed up a little bit, you can do a little bit of a back bend here. And anytime we're doing a back bend, we don't want to just break at our lower back. We want it to come through our whole spine. And you can do a real little movement there, and you'll still feel that stretch in your abdominals. So we inhale up, and then on the exhale, you're going to bend your knees like this, and then come into a fold. And the reason that I have people bend their knees is that it helps to protect our back. So when we bend our knees, we're relaxing that hamstring a little bit, and we're keeping that stomach strong as we come down. We're not rounding. So as we keep that strong, that helps to protect our back. So anytime we're going up or down, you'll hear me say bend your knees, and that is why I do that. So let's start from the beginning. Inhale our arms up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. And then the next part would be inhale, flat back. So on the inhale, you're going to put your hands on your shins and come up to a nice flat back. And then on the exhale, you'll fold, and this is where you will get some rounding, and you might straighten your legs out a little bit more. And then the next part, and if you can't reach here, that's okay if you're up here, and that's also where blocks come in handy too. And then in the next part, if you can't reach, you're going to bend your knees a little bit, and then you're going to bring your hands down and step back to plank. So plank pose, just like in mountain, we want our shoulders over our wrist, and our hips are still about hips width apart, and our stomach is in, so we don't want to be sinking through the abs, and we don't want to punch up like this. So nice and flat. And anytime if plank is too much, you come down to your knees. And I always like on my first sun salutation to come to my knees anyways. And then when you come into chaturanga, or you're lowering to the ground, you want your arms to come right by your side. You don't want them out. So you're going to be squeezing those arms in as you come down to the mat. And then when I warm up the first time, I always do cobra. So you're just right here lifting a little bit. And as you're doing yoga, you'll also find that you might want to start with a little bit of cobra, a little bit of this, and each time go into the pose a little bit more. Really work with your body to get it warmed up. Okay, so after cobra, we're going to tuck our toes, and we're going to push back to downward dog. If it's too much for you to push straight to downward dog, you can always come up to sort of a tabletop and then back, or you just come right here and sort of push up to a plank and through down dog. So in downward dog, our feet are about hips width apart. And if your heels don't touch, or even just to warm up, you can bend those knees. Downward dog is not about getting our heels on the floor. It's really about having a long spine, so from our head to our tail. So if we're rounded too much, sometimes if we bend our knees, that can help. So getting a nice long spine and relaxing those shoulders. So even if you notice, as I said, I was up here a little bit, and you relax those shoulders so you're not creating tension in the neck. And you can have your fingers pointing straight ahead, or you can turn them out just slightly. So see what works for you. And then from here, we're going to step our feet between our hands. To do that, we can bend our knees a little bit, and it sort of gives us a little push off. And you're going to step one and then the other. And then we come back into that fold. We come back into that flat back, and we release. And then the same thing as we came down. We're going to bend our knees, contract our abdominals to make our back strong, and then come back up, inhaling, and then exhaling our arms down. So I'm going to go through it again a little bit faster, and this time I'm going to stay in plank and also do upward dog. So let's try that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, flat back. See how I straighten my legs? And exhale, fold. If you need to fold, you can bend your knees or you can keep them straight. Step back to plank. So when we come through chaturanga, same thing. Squeeze our elbows into our side, and you can almost pop forward a little bit if you're lacking a little strength. And then into upward dog. So I'm going to tuck my toes. I'm going to come here. And we don't want our legs to be on the ground in upward dog. We're keeping them nice and tall. Then I tuck my toes and back to downward dog. And then inhale and step your feet between your hands. And if you need to use an arm to get it up there, you can do that. And inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, back strong, come up. And exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll go through that one more time, up to tempo. Inhale, your arms up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to plank. And chaturanga. Up dog. And exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale, step your feet between your hands and fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, come up to mountain, and exhale, hands to heart center. So that is how you do sun salutation 1. And hopefully you can get those poses down and get in some good form and keep your back safe when you're going up and down and when you're in that plank pose. All right, thanks for joining me today. And I'll put the link below if you want to join any of my classes on VStudio.